Hello, Internet. How are we this evening? How are we, Eric?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome back. It is good to be. I'm not in Cali, but I was Cali-based.
You were CaliBased. You know what, Eric? You're always CaliBased in my heart.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's good to be back here. This is going to be a hot show tonight. I can tell.
I have nothing prepared. We know what we're going to talk about. I just don't have anything pulled up because I was on that podcast until like the very last minute here. So I got to get everything pulled up.
You have nothing prepared?
Nothing.
Look like a fool proclaiming that this was going to be a hot show.
Well, no, it might still be.
We got good topics to go over tonight. I mean, this is going to be fun.
We do. So we're gonna B Sezzo says hi. Nice to see you, B Sezzo. Let me pull up the chat over on Rumble really quick. So we got the Kari Lake stuff to talk about. Let me say hello to the chat.
Michelle Obama. We got the border. We got tons of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Do you want me to go over something while you're pulling something up?
Sure. I was going to start talking about the Kari Lake stuff. Just getting the chat pulled up.
For the American history of voter fraud, we cover all the voter fraud cases that have happened since the film has been released, because we do a good job.
Strong with you.
We're covering two of the most taboo subjects possible: vaccines and voter fraud. So for people saying, "Oh, I'm grifting," I should have made a movie called American History of No Voter Fraud and the trial of how great Anthony Fauci is. If I run
American History of Safe and Effective Vaccines and the most secure elections ever.
Yeah, exactly. That's the movies I'd be making if I wanted to grift. But I'm here shouting out the truth, the censored truth. Okay, so I'm just trying to help you guys out. And you know what? If I earn a couple shekels, don't get too mad. That's just how it goes.
Have you ever read The Merchant of Venice?
No.
You haven't?
No, and it's so funny. Like, that could be like a running theme on this show. Michael asks, "Have you read or seen this?" And Eric goes, "No, no, I haven't."
I'm surprised that you haven't, because if there is a term, if there really is an anti-Semitic, that book's anti-Semitic. Like, do you know what it's about? Like, the pound of flesh, no more, no less. And like, the villain in the story's name is Shylock. Like, do you know what it's about? It's like a super famous play, and nobody ever points out how like insanely anti-Jew the whole entire play is. It's
well, I don't let my big nose let us get off on a tirade here, but just sorry, I just happened to just throw it in there. I apologize for derailing a great conversation. What I was saying is, we cover all the voter fraud cases that have happened since the film. And
Bridgeport said shekels.
Yeah, it was my fault. I blame me. But in the end, Bridgeport, Connecticut, the mayoral race. This is just, in terms of funny, like it's almost at a 10 out of 10. I mean, the amount of like on camera absentee.
Wait, what is this?
So in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the two mayors have accused each other of rampant voter fraud, of ballot harvesting, of ballot stuffing. And guess what? They're both right, because they have camera footage of each other's harvesters stuffing in ballots, like breaking the drop box, essentially. Like, it's basically the drop box is going, I can't do anymore. And it just keeps pushing them in. And it's amazing.
So they're both they're both doing ballot harvesting.
Yes, and
is that legal there?
No, and especially at the and so. But the issue is, neither of them are gonna get caught. They're not gonna face any punishment for this. They're both running against each other, and they're showing you how the American history of voter fraud works. They're both cheating as much as possible, like NASCAR. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, and that's really how politicians work. And so it's just a great illustration of, they're they're really both sides often are just cheating to the maximum level. And this is why we cover this in this way, because we want to police them and have fair and honest elections, not have your vote disenfranchised by one dude continually stuffing over and over more absentee ballots. Hundreds of people, their votes gone. It's amazing.
You know that? I mean, that's legal here in California. You know that, right?
Yes, but in the end, there is still a limit to it, because obviously, if you parse through every single absentee ballot that person is stuffing, they aren't all legitimate. And that's what you would get at if you went to all the California ones as well. And so it's just like, that's another issue, is there's a lot of dirty names on the rolls. We don't need to get too far into this, but I'm just saying, like, in the end, it's another example of the organized and not even that organized crime within our election systems that happens all the time.
I have sort of a serious interest in this subject, Eric. I'm sort of running for office in California. So
what's your interest? Are you like, oh, I should do that?
Ballot harvesting? Absolutely.
Yes. You're like, I need that guy. I need that guy to shove him in.
Bro, this isn't an election anymore. Everybody, with what California has done, these aren't elections. So,
in your case, it's much less of a worry. But what I always tell people, because it's legal in both sides there. But in places where ballot harvesting is illegal, you know that the Department of Justice, the way it's structured, it punishes the Republicans, and especially the MAGA Republicans, more if they did voter fraud than the pervasive voter fraud that occurs all the time. Like we had a woman in this film who was arrested for a voter fraud crime in Tarrant County, which is the county right next to Dallas County here in Texas. And then just last year, she was arrested for that same crime. And so it's just a pervasive issue over and over, and it never gets solved. So that's why it's important to talk about, because it's like, yeah, all these people up there, they cheated, and they're talking to you about democracy. Like almost all of them got there through cheating. And we should talk about how we need to actually work on the system to make it so it's much more fair. We would have people who actually represented us in office, not these assholes.
Imagine that. Yeah, I think I need to start a ballot harvesting campaign.
I mean, in your situation, you pretty much have to. In your
why do you say it like that? Why do you say it like you have to? You said it
because it's like you are basically feeding into the destruction of the democracy. But for the show, you have to. We need this win. There's no way. No, I'm just kidding. Well, no, I would still advocate in the end of like, in the end, you wouldn't want your ballot harvested, because in the end, what are you doing with it? You're dropping it off so that an election official can do something with it. And that election official, if they have an agenda against you, all you're doing is delivering more ballots that they're going to eliminate or adjudicate and flip to the other side. So I would actually caution still against the ballot harvesting. I don't see any good way for it. All you're doing is presenting them more ballots that they can manipulate. Then you're giving them more time and access to those ballots. If you're saying that the election official is going to do that with the absentee ballots, then why would you provide them more absentee ballots? No, you flood them with in-person votes. That's the only way. But in the end, I'm not running for state senate in California. You are. So you have to make these decisions. I'm just giving you my advice.
Well, you're not making me very optimistic here, Eric.
No, you have to understand, if there were people like Edward Durr who did this in New Jersey, and all he had, and by flooding the system, it really wasn't that many people. But he shocked the system. A 20-year incumbent in New Jersey was defeated by a freaking truck driver.
Well, what did he do?
Didn't even spend $5,000 on his campaign total. Spent $200 of his own dollars total.
What did he do? What was his? How did he just win just because people didn't want to vote for the incumbent, or did he have some sort of?
Well, obviously, so the incumbent was this Democrat who people were upset about because he had been this entrenched, corrupt asshole. So obviously that helps. But in the end, they wouldn't vote for a ham sandwich, or else these incumbents wouldn't always win. They're actually being the ham sandwich in that situation is hard. He wasn't a tomato can. he actually presented something that connected with people, and it was just grassroots. It was basically, I'm a truck driver, I'm one of you, and that's what you're doing, Michael. All you have to do is just kind of exude, I'm one of you, and you'll actually get these votes. You'll win it.
And I do not like ham sandwiches.
And then I heard, by the way, supposedly he went to a lot of truck stops, if you know what I mean. So you might want to do that.
The jacket on the stall thing.
You know, they're just whatever you can to connect with voters, constituents, one-on-one, however you have to do it.
Did you hear about that in the airports? The jacket on the stall?
Yeah, and I'm just kidding about Edward Durr, obviously, but not for Michael. I mean, that's a great campaign strategy. In California,
you're not wrong. All right, let's listen to the Kari. Let's listen to the Kari Lake audio. Let's see. Finally got it pulled up here. All right, let's go over to Grace Chong here.
This was a scoop, by the way. This was a bombshell. Absolute bombshell.
So yeah, any of you guys that haven't heard yet, this bombshell leaked audio came out today, and it's this who is this guy again? What's his name?
Jeff DeWitt.
Yeah, Jeff DeWitt. But what is he? Let me look him up here really quick. You know what?
He was some Arizona bigwig.
He is an Arizona bigwig. Yeah. So let's see.
You can get a more
sent him an email
description than that. Obviously, I'm just setting the table in the most rudimentary fashion for people. But yeah, this to prepare people, we're gonna go over this. We're gonna stop it multiple times. It's a 10-minute clip. We're not going to do it in one chunk, and there's no way we're going to get through it without just freaking out and reacting, because it's so good. This is everything that the establishment worries about. A private conversation that reveals so much about the system. I'm not going to give more than that, but this is one of the biggest stories of the year so far, easily, and it will stay that way the rest of the year. This is a big one.
I'm going to pause it after like 5 seconds too, because he says something right off the bat that we need to talk about. But Jeff DeWitt is Arizona GOP chairman, husband, father, businessman. He's got an MBA, and he's a hardcore Trumper. He's Trump 2016 COO and CFO and Trump 2020 COO. So this dude seems to be like heavily affiliated with the Trump campaign. Former CFO of NASA and state treasurer of Arizona, 14-year business CEO. So this is no slouch. Like, this is a very well-connected dude. Yeah. Seems that he is like, with everything that he says here, you can't be, this is backstabbing Trump. Everything that you're doing here is backstabbing. Let's play the audio. Jesus, it's brain-breaking to me, Eric.
Yeah, sit down, folks. If you're standing up, because this will floor you.
Don't tell me.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
Not either. Saints world, man.
Sorry, Eric.
Off the bat, she drops a joke about they're gonna kill her. I mean, this is it's good, folks. Let's see if it loads. Yeah.
No, it was me. I got the audio screwed up, so I just want to make sure I put it through my headphones before I play. Yeah, because I get the people that are listening will get an echo if I play it like that. So, all right, let's try again.
If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. Right, they said the cartel's operating in 50 states right now.
Okay. So that right there, he says the cartels are operating in 50 states. I talk about the fentanyl dealers in San Francisco. You don't need to be a U.S. citizen to be a cop in San Francisco anymore. And then you had the head of the San Jose Police Union being a fentanyl kingpin. So just want to throw that out there. Eric, tell me when you want me to pause.
That's actually not even news. We've known that for years, but good to point that out, actually, though. I like that you stuck that through, because that was a sneaky one.
Right. So, okay. So just, Eric, if you want me to pause, just say pause, and I'll pause it.
I will.
Mm-hmm. So
what's going on? Who is it? What?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what.
How cryptic is that? Forget the who. So let me tell you the what.
No, this guy is straight out of a movie, folks, and it gets worse. It really does.
I just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't. If you say, I got offered to buy out. Don't. Because then we lose our ability to get things done.
So you can see right off the bat, he's like super trying to cover his ass. He knows that he is bribing a very high, like he knows what he's doing right here, and he's trying to really cover his ass. So you know something's about.
I guess a good thing for the audience: watch how he simultaneously does good cop and bad cop to try and lure in Kari Lake to what he's trying to entice her with.
In the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me. And it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's not about ownership.
It's about control.
Eric, so I got to point this out while it's fresh in my brain. So you hear her like rustling with the mic. You hear that?
Yeah. The Wire.
Bro, this seems like a setup to me. Like, I think she knew that he was going to come bribe her, and I think that she recorded this on purpose. She's been sitting on this for a while. Like, you have to throw it out there that Kari Lake was going to be on her best behavior during this conversation because she knew she's recording it and she's using it as like this information got leaked today for a reason. Why today?
I guess the best way to describe it, one person knew that only one person thought it was going to be off the record and thought both of them were going to be off the record. The other person knew that it was going to be recorded, and therefore it becomes like, and he should have picked up on this. It's like almost like, is she talking to a crowd right now? Is she talking to the recording? Right. Like he could have picked that up like down into this, because she is like doing politician speak in a one-on-one, and it's like that should have been his one tell. But let's let it flow a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
team,
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So
I hate when she starts chewing.
You want to stay out for 2 years. But I'll tell you what I can offer you.
Play the Godfather music.
I tell you what I can offer you. Like, really?
Let me tell you what I can offer you, Michael. I could offer you $50 and a gift card to In-N-Out if you don't run for state senate. Let me offer you. Like, it's that kind of a thing.
I could absolutely be bribed with In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, I know. That's why I did that. I did my off research on you.
I said, you can do whatever you want. It's talking head, isn't it? So the ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and give her to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think that's a bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not. But at the same time,
pause it really quick.
I'm not.
Okay, so one, make it full screen so the audience can read the subtitles too. But this is like, that moment right there is so key, because he's trying to lure her in, and then she pushes back saying, this is about defeating Trump. And then he goes right into good cop. No, I love Trump. I love Trump. And this is where I want you to see. He's going to push as far as he can, and then he will just, as soon as he pushes too far, he'll vacillate back to some good cop BS platitude like, I love Trump.
So when is this from? What is and what are they referring to here? So let me when is this conversation from? I haven't even looked into this. Oh crap, I shouldn't have got out of that.
Yeah, actually now we lost the spot.
Okay. It's okay. But when is this audio from?
I don't think we know yet.
We should. But what is because he's telling her to stand off for a year or 2 years. So was this was the governor race, I'm assuming? right?
Well, no, I would assume.
Saints World, man.
Sorry.
That stuff that came out last week is right about the
What the
cartel
heck?
stuff. Right?
Yeah, I think we were at least like 2 minutes in because the part I wanted to really talk about was 3 minutes in, so we hadn't hit 3 minutes yet.
Right about here.
Our people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end, and I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not. If they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away, I'm not letting them do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona to carry their torch and their voice.
Or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
And you fill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
Okay, pause.
You're not.
Since you said pause.
So hold on though. So he should have picked up on Kari Lake right there when she said when she did the whole "this is a hill worth dying on" thing. And
Yeah, well, and then really quick, so it was to run last year. So this is this was that I just looked it up. So this was a like stopping her from running last year. So 2023.
2022, you mean, right? Last election, right?
Yeah.
Got you. Do you want me to play it again?
No, because we can keep going because we're about to get to the good part.
Okay.
What you can't scratch their back. It's not for you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them, and they're sitting around people that have something to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position.
Her eating makes me wonder. Maybe she didn't know she was being recorded because, like, sorry, this part's really hard for me to get through, Eric, because like the sound
You're
of
an
people
audio
eating.
guy. This is your audio nerd.
It's a
coming
pet
out.
peeve of mine, dude. Like people chewing loudly is like nails on a chalkboard. It's so
What
hard
if
for me to
he's
deal with.
trying to exude confidence in this conversation and trying to distract him from the fact that she's recording his ass?
I can't stand people chewing loudly.
You're
Nerd.
scratching anybody's back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been on the outs with a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs.
Mhm.
You know, where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you.
You catch
That's
that,
the
Eric?
part. That's the part. That's the part I wanted you to stop. And I like her reaction. Listen to what you're saying, because yeah, it is like it is something where we should, recall what you're talking about here, Mr. DeWitt. Because yeah, he just if you want to even back it up to where the caption is right there, he admitted that the election was stolen. Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again? So yes, you're right. 2022. There you go.
Talking about now. Where are we at? And they're going. They're doing everything they can. Steal 2024.
You're right. So, but yeah, this is a bombshell. He's basically just kind of dropping it like matter of fact. Yeah, they stole the election.
It gets worse. It gets worse and worse and worse all the way down to like the last few seconds of this audio. Like, because when you get to the end, it's like, okay, this is a
really
straight
quick,
up bribe.
The back scratching club. I think it's a very important thing to talk about, because what is he saying there? He's saying all of Washington relies on the concept of quid pro quo, which is something that they tried to impeach Trump for. Yet that's what the whole Washington, D.C. apparatus runs upon. Just wanted to throw that out there.
And he's saying how Kari doesn't have anything to offer them, like it's a bad thing.
Yeah. You know that integrity thing you have? You're making it so you have nothing to offer for them. Can you sell up part of your soul at least? Please, because the fact that you've sold none of your soul is making it hard for us to suck the soul out of you. It's disgusting.
And it doesn't help that he's just a slimy looking prick with one of his eyeballs higher than the other, and Kari's pretty.
he's like, look, you ain't you aren't doing any pedophilia, you aren't corrupt, you have your soul. What do you have to offer?
But bro, look at his right eyeball. His right eyeball, like his left eyeball, the top of it starts at the bottom of his right eyeball. Look at it. Like really.
I cannot make any jokes in this area because I have an eye injury on my right eye. So I would see
I've never noticed.
biggest
His is worse.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I've never noticed. By the way, his is worse. I know yours is terrible, but I mean, his is way worse. I mean, I've never noticed, but oh my God. Yours is like a negative 10 out of 10, but his is like a negative 100 out of 10. So don't feel that bad.
I haven't noticed. I promise.
Audio. No, for those in the chat, I had a slingshot, bam, a dirt clod in my eye when I was like a kid, and then I got the superpower of having a damaged eye. It was really cool.
That's rough. I'm sorry.
No, it's pretty funny. We can all laugh about it. Obviously, there's a lot of jokes I can't get into in here because I'll get you suspended. But yeah, it's
Kari Lake.
Yeah, Kari Lake.
Steal the election again.
Listen to what you're saying.
Oh, she's chewing again.
Why don't we do something about it so that we the people can pick our?
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. Then I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people. Go back and tell them that. I'm running, right. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in their.
That's right.
That's my whole. That's like exactly my thing. That's all I'm here to do. Even if I lose, I'm here to be the biggest pain in everybody's ass as possible. And even if I get in there, it's a super majority. I probably won't be able to get anything done, but I can get in every single person in the legislature's face and say, fuck you, no. So I'm right there with her on that.
Pain in the ass in the establishment. I love it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm just a pain in the ass.
A good pain in the ass. Oh, that's not a gay.
I'm not willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
No, I know. Look.
You don't have to tell them that, but I don't think they will.
The second reference to someone dying.
Either they come around and try to work with me, or I'm just going to. That would entail not telling layman's telling me you got to distance yourself from Trump. I know you distance yourself from DeSantis.
He's all buttered about
it.
But what I'm saying is, don't tell people that I'm with Trump. Okay, I want to work for the betterment of Arizona.
Pause that shit right now. We need to talk about that.
So go ahead. Because
I need to distance myself from Trump. No. You need to distance yourself from DeSantis. What was that about?
So that's why I'm wondering, like, who are these powerful people that are who is he the messenger for?
May I give my I believe DeSantis at that point in time, you have to remember the polling at that time. He was the leader of the Never Trump coalition on the Republican side, obviously. And they were like, okay, we can take out Trump before Biden even, or, whoever they're going to replace him with supposedly can even face him. We're just going to have, we're going to take out Trump in the primary, or at least just be the biggest pain in the butt for him possible. And so they're looking at, okay, can we not only do this to Trump, can we neuter all of his allies, take him out and basically say like, hey, we'll pay you off and to not, say anything nice about Trump. And so I don't believe that DeSantis is like this all powerful person in this. I think DeSantis was the conduit for the Never Trump movement, and if this was played today, it would have been you distance yourself from Nikki Haley.
But that doesn't make sense. This is 2022. They're telling her, he's saying that they want her to pause for 2 years, which would mean she could pick things back up in 2024. So that doesn't make any sense if it's trying. It's like you're saying that DeSantis is like what Nikki Haley is now.
Well, right? I'm not saying it's a direct thing. I'm saying the Never Trump money is you're going to back whoever the horse is in the, oh, this is the person I think can actually beat Trump. I'm not saying that even a lot of the donors were particularly encouraged or enthusiastic about DeSantis's policies. He might actually been far too conservative for their liking. But still, that doesn't negate the fact that at that point, he was by far the betting favorite to take out Trump. Nikki Haley was not even a thought in anybody's mind at this point. And so
DeSantis is going to play ball in certain regards. We know that, right? That certain regards that the deep state would want him to play ball in.
I mean, they all do at some point, and that's why Trump was so attractive, because pre-2020 there wasn't really a lot of.
Did you say Trump's attractive?
No, no, he was an attractive option. You know, he was quite attractive to Trump, Eric. Oh yeah, I mean the hair, the
handsome man.
The fact that he can't ever admit a mistake. I mean, he's the best. He's the absolute best. But you know, but in the end, I would I don't care. He could not admit any mistakes he wants to me. I just need that cheap gas and food. Because being able to afford food and gas was awesome. That was really cool. You know, it was nice. You know, crazy aspirations. But you know, it's like this is what you're getting back to. Even the deep state and all this stuff. It's what he was just talking about a couple minutes ago. The back scratching club. You know, these backdoor deals that get done all the time. Like, okay, you know, Nikki, we'll give you money. You got to be the war hawk. You know, these kind of deals. And you know that Nikki Haley, when she had this kind of conversation, it was a lot different. Like, how much money can you give me? I will sell my soul right now. Where do I sign? That was the Nikki Haley conversation version of this, right? And so this is where, you know, these deals happen with all the politicians, but it's fascinating that she was the one who really opened the window to what this really murky world is.
So you know why I think this audio got leaked right now? I would imagine, well, this is 2-year-old audio, right? So I would imagine the follow-up to this came. She turned him down. They sent the messenger and they tried to coax her with the carrot, right? They tried to bribe her. Well, what comes when the bribes don't work? Threats.
Yeah,
threats
intimidation.
come. So I would be willing to bet that some sort of threat or intimidation came her way today, and she was like, all right.
Oh,
game time.
Connection. Very good connection.
But I mean, that's just me speculating. So
no, I think, you know, as far as speculation goes, that's what we call an educated guess. It makes a lot of sense to me, and that tracks.
They haven't even gotten to the good part yet, so let's keep going.
There's so many good parts. I think we might even skirt over the fact that he, you know, just was like, oh, it was a rigged election, because this isn't just a guy. This isn't just somebody on, you know, Rumble. Pardon. We love Rumble, but this isn't just some commentary. This is a dude who's like, I'm the guy making the deals for all the rich people. And so when he's like, yeah, you know, that was rigged. You don't want to be rigged again 2 more years from now, right? Like, that was huge. But we got
more. He is the GOP chair for Arizona. He is a big Trump guy, though. So he's probably been saying that for a while. I don't know. Could be wrong, though. So who knows? All right, let's keep playing this.
I'm not going to let these people back in D.C. tell me not to run. I'm not going to pause for 2 years. The battle is now. I'm offended by whoever these people are that they're trying to buy me out of.
Well, you should be honored.
But I'm offended that there's people back there who just don't get about our country.
Do you understand, though? You should be honored. That means they know how powerful you are.
Well, I can tell them
that. If you weren't powerful, they wouldn't want to have this conversation.
Damn, Eric. So I'm dumb. I didn't even. Sorry. Thanks for letting me know in the chat here. So, Chris WH, thanks for letting me know. I'm dumb, man. I didn't even know she was running for Senate.
Yes. Okay. I should have given you that context. I apologize.
But. So, 2 years later, like,
and okay, I understand that he's a Republican, right? I understand that, but he's not a pro. he's not a pro-Trump Republican as he is.
Yeah, he is. No, go to his Twitter, bro. He's got
Okay,
Trump in
even
his
though he's
freaking
saying
background.
I love Trump, he's actively trying to subvert her. Kari Lake is even
Well,
saying like you're trying.
Pretending. He's pretending to be a pro-Trump. Like, go to his Twitter. His freaking background picture is Trump pointing at like.
Well, okay, but okay, I understand there are sleeper agents within the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I understand that part. I'm saying that he is. This is not somebody who is pro-Trump saying that the election is rigged. This is someone who's literally actively trying to do what he can to apparently rig the next election by, this isn't voter fraud territory, but this is trying to manipulate the results in any way you can by saying, hey, we'll pay you to not run. We'll pay you to not even say, to distance yourself from Trump, right?
This has to be illegal, what he's doing in this video. Like, has this guy been arrested? This is bribery at the highest level.
I mean, there's so many times people ask me about, well, you show so many illegal things in American history of voter fraud. Why are there no arrests? Well, the justice system is designed to protect these people because a lot of these people who are manipulating and controlling the system, they rely on these types of criminals.
All right. Well, let's see if we can catch him in a phrase that he says that's like, like when somebody solicits someone to go kill her husband or whatever, they try to, and it's an undercover agent or whatever, and they try to say, I will give you X amount of money if you kill my husband. Like,
we should really go over this line really quick of like, oh, you should be flattered. You're this powerful. That's why they want to buy you off. You should be so flattered that they want to buy your soul. You should be so flattered that they want you to throw the election. You should be so flattered. That was as condescending and disgusting. And I'm glad she had the perfect response. And thank God people still exist. And I know she is putting on an act for the recording, but that was the right act to put on for the recording of, you're destroying this country. This is the exact thing that is ruining our country, and you're taking away people's choice. She even says that before he cuts her off on one point, like, you are taking away people's choice. And that is very important. It's an act of disenfranchisement of what this person is trying to do. He's trying to subvert the election and manipulate the election behind the scenes, not necessarily voter fraud, but this is as much of election manipulation and election interference as you can get.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Right? You should be. Very few people get this.
I know. I'm pissed that they don't care more about our country. It's all about the mighty dollar to them. And that's offensive.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
They want to get Trump so bad. They want him out so bad.
Back that up really quick. Just stop it. She says it's all about the almighty dollar. He's like, I don't know about that. I was like, you just bribed me. What do you mean it's not all about the almighty dollar?
He hasn't bribed her yet, though.
Well, he has already intimated the bribe before he's actually talked about it. But he was basically saying like, you should be flattered that they want to buy you out. He was intimating the bribe right there with, you should be flattered that they want to do this because you're so powerful. He is insinuating a bribe. It's just like so nuts. Oh, it's not all about the money. Ridiculous.
It's probably more in his mind too, that it's just, he knows, it's about the power to them.
He will go into that of like, oh, you can spread your message more, yada yada. But the implicit thing is, I'm bribing you.
Yeah. How about
I'm good.
Some people that are in on this.
Listen, I can win. Why don't you go back and tell them that I can win, and why don't they get behind me?
I see these things through a different lens. It's very personal to you. This was you. It was your name on the ballot, and I get that. And it's a very personal thing.
Well, I have a appointment coming up, and I have to work on my book.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I appreciate their concern.
Just to say, is there a number at which
I can be bought?
See, that's it right there. So that's his Hail Mary pass. He's like, okay. Like, have you ever done commission sales? He's doing a sales pitch. And
yes, it's the act of negotiation. And this is by the way, it's not like he was doing a good job. This is like he heard her about to leave the conversation. I've got an appointment. I've got this book thing I've got to do. He was basically telling her to F off. And
what
he was,
can I do?
yes, and he
What
was
can
like,
I do to put you in this car today?
he knew this was, oh, I didn't know this was 4th and 28 with 1 second left in the fourth quarter, but it is. So the Hail Mary was a correct comparison.
Yeah. Is there a number? And she says that I could be bought. She cuts him off. Yeah, she played this whole conversation artfully.
Not be bought.
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple of years.
No.
And then go right back to what you're doing.
No. 10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no. This is not about money. This is about our country.
So that was the first ask, right? So
He's like,
that was the first bribe attempt right there. So that's one bribe attempt so far.
what about 2 billion?
I think it's disturbing that they would even, that anybody would think this is.
I no, to be fair, even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me.
I mean,
I can
would
win
say
and they
those
should
words.
get behind me.
I will happily say those words.
Yeah.
Do you think my words will carry any weight? No.
Okay, well, did you think you would come in here and that I would be bought?
It's not being bought.
Yes, it is.
It's, I think,
It is being bought.
No.
They are trying to buy me out of running.
What
And
I,
it's actually, I mean, all right, I'm flattered. I'm offended. I'm
What I
offended for our
think-
country.
what I
We have
think
people
is
like this who live here.
What I think is this, is it can give you an incredible opportunity to have a bigger voice to fight for stuff.
I can give you an incredible opportunity. Really? Like, who are you speaking for, sir? It's, dude, this is so nefarious. This the
And-
language of all of this.
And this is, I want people to understand, a bribe doesn't just mean money, it's money and power. So he is bribing her and buying her with
Right.
not just explicit dollars. He's saying, you know, I can put you in a better position to do X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. In the end, he is, this attempt is hilarious because he is simultaneously trying to tell her, hey, step out for 2 years, but I'll make you more powerful. You're telling me to go on the sidelines for 2 years, but I'm going to be more powerful. This is the desperation of the sales pitch. It's not even a great sales pitch.
But he's already had one bribe attempt. Basically, he says, "What's your number?" And she says, "I don't have one. Go fuck yourself." And then this is the second bribe attempt, and he's like, "Well, you know, she's already turned down money, so he's switching to strategy. He's like, well, we can give you a bigger platform to spread your message." So this is the second bribe attempt.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out.
Than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people.
Did he just say, "Are you crying?"
Oh,
She's-
yeah.
Did
And
she
you know
start
what?
crying?
It's actually, I guess we can get to this now. The reason why I believe she did this, more so than what you said, I loved your reasoning of the whole, they're threatening her, and I think that might be more accurate than mine. But my initial reaction was, this is her trying to position herself again for like the top pick for being the VP kind of a thing, and because you just don't hear her name as much out there as you did initially.
Well, she's running
and-
for Senate. She wouldn't want to be VP.
I know, but it's like the whole conversation of even like, okay, even if she is gonna turn it down and she's not in the position to take it, she still wants to be the number one person that like people are throwing out. You should have Kari Lake do it, because that's like that's the best marketing she can have. It's basically saying she's the heir apparent to MAGA. That's what Vivek is trying to do. He's trying to take that heir apparent to MAGA position. And
I think he is.
Kari Lake used to have that, And I feel like she has really stepped up her game here, because how could she not make herself look any better than this conversation? Because this is a gold mine for her. It shows her integrity, exposes the deep state, exposes, the fact that people know matter-of-factly that 2020 was stolen. I mean, the bribes. This is bombshell.
The timing too. Like Trump won New Hampshire today. It's just curious, timing's strange. She's been sitting on this for a while, obviously, and
I'm just saying, because even like you're hearing a lot of Nikki Haley talk and all this other stuff, and it's like, she just wants her name to get out there. And it might, like, I know mine isn't nearly as clever as yours, but I'm just telling you, that was my inclination when I first thought of it, was like, this is like such good press for her. Like, couldn't be any.
Yeah, but so I've bought into Kari Lake a little too much to believe that, because I really do think that Kari Lake, like, in the patriotic sense, wants to save this country and is in it for the right reasons. I could be completely wrong about that, but if that's the case, the idea of like everybody's getting a bunch of attention and I want attention too, it doesn't, yeah, it's not doing it for me. There could be like an element of that to it, but she's been sitting on this audio for a while. She knew it's a weapon. It's not just a weapon against Jeffy here. This is a weapon against the entire deep state. So what are they coming at her about right now? That's my question. Like, what has happened recently? What's gone on in the life of Kari Lake in the few days leading up to this? That's what I would be curious to know.
And how many, like you said, how many other little conversations privately are they trying to have with her? Maybe even, hey, I don't think you should run. I don't think you should run. And so this is why I liked your little intimidation angle much better. But I was just telling you my first inclination of like, God, this makes her look so good. It really does. And so I give her credit. Like, there isn't one moment in this conversation where you're like, wow, she isn't just the perfect representative of MAGA in this conversation. I've had various opinions of her. I even criticized her because during her first run, she was advocating for people to vote absentee, early, and by mail. And when no one was saying this, but because we had just released the film in 2022, I was even going on her page saying, like, don't advocate for that, because they will use those votes against you. They will manipulate. You're just giving them more time and access. They will eliminate those votes, or they will adjudicate them and edit them to the other side. And
I don't agree with that. Like I agree with that. Maybe they will try to manipulate those votes, but the thing is, it's all about voter turnout. If you've got 1 million people on the voter rolls and 1.5 million ballots show up, it's a problem. So if people use the early voting, mail-in voting, and they vote, whoever, Trump or whatever, they're going to have to manipulate a lot of ballots. It'll become very
well. The issue is the earlies, the mail-ins, and the absentees do exactly what you're talking about. It gives them more time and access to do so. If people were doing this in person, it would flood the system. It would give them too much to do in a very short amount of time. And then the other issue is, this isn't just me saying this. We say this from the film because even election officials will discuss how this has been an issue. Now, it was mostly historically absentee votes for the most of the 20th century. But as we went into the 21st century, mail-in ballots became this predominant force, and then earlies became a big portion of the equation there. But in the end, all of these forms are seen as vulnerable across the world. England and Northern Ireland had a ton of mail-in and early and absentee ballot fraud, and this is just a continued issue that everyone else is like, they see the issue. It's like we're the only ones ignoring the metric system of elections, essentially. Even India, who they don't have plumbing in all the areas of the country, they can count all their ballots by hand, and they also have voter ID. That would be nice.
Too off into the election weeds. Let's try to get through this video here. We got like 2.5 more minutes of it.
than you currently do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like this. These people are un-American,
Yeah, she was crying. She started crying.
and I think they're unethical, and I would be absolutely immoral if I did that.
Again,
That's immoral. I couldn't look at I couldn't look at myself in the mirror if I, you know.
it's very powerful people that are willing to, they really want someone different. They want new.
So it seems like bribery attempt number 1 with money, bribery attempt number 2 with we'll give you a bigger platform, and then this is threat, not a bribery. These are very powerful people and they want new names, whatever it is. Now that seems like a threat to me. 1, 2, 3. Would you agree?
Yes, and I also feel like her emotion in this is actually powerful because it's not like she's being weak. It's like she's so upset at how much these people are destroying our country. It's actually very powerful, and I connect with it.
And she can't believe that, like, holy crap, this like mafia style thing is happening in our government. This is like Soviet style shit. And yeah, so yeah.
And I'm sure, like you were
Names,
talking
whatever it
about,
is.
this is
So
like
they want Joanna, that's a
intimidating,
new
but
name.
she got through it.
Sorry, dude. I fucking keep.
No, you're good. No, I was just saying, like, you know, I'm sure as a woman, she was like afraid, but like you were saying so astutely at the beginning, she's putting on a performance. We need to keep that in mind. And so as part of the performance, it was so powerful.
Maybe. I'm not positive, but maybe. She knows it's being recorded, I think.
No, actually, that's not even, that's a possibility. They're even asking me, like,
I know they've got all these new names, and I'm going to beat each and every one of them. Sorry, Jeff. Take it back to them.
oh,
I gotta get working.
I know.
I love you, but I gotta get working.
All right, I appreciate it.
I mean, I'm just can't believe this.
Hey, again, be honored. Instead of them just them working to beat you, they're trying to
This is about getting Trump out.
Nah,
Yeah, it is.
Trump never killed once.
Well, it's about DeSantis, getting DeSantis in. Getting DeSantis is getting Trump out.
You're reading too deep into it.
Well, let's see what happens. Maybe my case will go through. Maybe they'll do the right thing.
I hope so.
I do too. That's my.
So it sounds like they were inside, now they're outside, and he's, they're walking to the parking lot. Looks like he's probably going to go to his car, but this is where he has his last ditch effort.
My first goal. But they can't have me in the governor's office because then we're going to root out some of this corruption.
But again, it's like,
you know what it is? The people don't get to choose their elected officials unless they're pre-approved by the swamp. And the swamp doesn't pre-approve of me.
You need a strong party to help.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey,
no.
These people don't want to, they don't want,
And then I turn my key in my car and
Okay.
I really think that's the moment where she let you know she knows it's being recorded.
Look what he just said. She says, I think you should go public with this. And he says, no. Then I turn my key in my car and it goes boom. He's not joking there. He says it and like kind of giggles after, but he's dead serious. He already said the very powerful people. This is straight up like proof of a deep state cabal.
Yes. And I mean, there's been many examples of this, but what I think is so illuminating for people is, we've had bits and pieces of it. We never had the full freaking behind the scenes conversation. This is
Huge.
And again, I think she really is letting you know, hey, you should go public with this, like as a ominous statement of like, I'm gonna go public with this, suck on that and like it, DeWitt. But this is really a to me, yes. The headline,
she gave him an out. She gave him an out right there.
Yeah, if you had to say what is the headline, what's the moment of this conversation that's the mind blower, it really is this part about how he is letting you know, this guy who makes the offers, Kari Lake saying it sounds almost conspiratorial, like, oh, what does she know about it? Right. You could dismiss it. This guy making the mafia, can I make you an offer that you can't refuse? This guy, he is telling you that he will die if people know about this. And so this is fascinating because he might go through the ringer. Like, remember James O'Keefe's last like Pfizer video with Project Veritas? Like that Pfizer guy probably got a real talking to, right? And this guy DeWitt, he's gonna have a real talking to. You might
sent
not
him an email.
He might have as many body doubles as Joe Biden by the end of his life, because this guy is allegedly already kaput. This is not a good situation. This is not a good situation at all.
No,
so,
dude, he can't go anywhere in public now. This dude's life is over.
He also has no power. His career is over, more importantly, and that's probably where he feels this would devastate him. But yeah, we can end it.
26 seconds.
I like that.
Tell him I'm not flattered. I'm offended that they.
Don't tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they.
He's got to make sure he gets that in there. Don't tell anybody we had this conversation. Like, this conversation is so illuminating.
Don't care about our country more.
I actually wish you'd just give me a counteroffer this big.
There. That's the fourth attempt. What is it? Come on. Just what is it? What do you want? All right, fine. What's your counteroffer? He says it twice.
Give me a counter.
There it is. Give me a counter. He never actually gave a number, but he's basically saying, what's your price, Kari?
I can't be bought.
Come on.
I can't.
Come on. Remember before when he said it's not being bought, it's asking you to pause. And then at the end of it, since it's last ditch effort, he's thrown everything else that he can at it. She says, I can't be bought. And he responds with, come on.
Yeah, tell me the amount I can buy you with, literally.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, that's it.
It was as juicy as anything you'll go into. That's audio. That's going to be played for years to come. So it was good that we talked it out for almost a freaking hour, if you look, but absolutely necessary. And it's because it exposes all these things that, except for the vaccines, like he almost got into like all the big conspiracies about, these deep state conversations behind closed doors, manipulating elections, outright rigging elections, and by the way, and people getting assassinated. It is full of everything that you could ever want.
It's got everything. Yeah, it really has everything. Let's see what the chat's saying. So Ian Thomas, I want to know how these people are involved in wanting to bribe Kari. Same. Kari needs to stay safe. Agreed. This is how Bernie got his lake house. Great show. Thank you. That's a good call right there, bro.
Thank you. I forgot to mention that. This is so so in 2016 he runs in the primaries, and then I'm never gonna be bought out. You'll never buy me out. And then all of a sudden, bam, he's got a second house. Like this broke loser who has never made any money, all of a sudden crushing it.
And that's when it went from the millionaires and the billionaires to
the billionaires. Yeah, the billionaires. Now I'm a millionaire. Yeah, I'm a millionaire. Well, hey, someone's got to make money off this communism. Someone's got to be at the top.
Oh, what a dirtbag. We got Blake SM. Why do Arizona Republicans hate Trump?
Can I explain that?
Yeah.
So in the Republican Party, there was a struggle for the Republican Party when Trump came in. It was the MAGA faction and the establishment Republicans, the Bushies. And I call them the Bushies, but they could also be called the McCains. The McCains are excellent representation of the establishment Republicans. And when Trump came in, he took away all their power. He literally went after Bush. He went after McCain, said, I like war heroes that don't get caught, and he went after these guys, and he literally said, hey, don't donate to the GOP, donate directly to your boy, Donald Trump, and the GOP has always been after him ever since. And yeah, the establishment Republicans, they were just as incentivized to rig 2020 as the Democrats were, if not more so, because they were losing control of their power base. They aren't anything if they can't control the Republican Party. They're losers and cast-offs. They were really the ones who wanted to orchestrate the rigging, and of course, the Democrats would be happily complicit.
We got user 1121 over here on Rumble. He says this dude is a 3-letter plant to bait her into a crime, entrapment, clear as day. So that's an interesting theory that there is no deep state people behind his message. He's just doing this of his own volition to try and get her to agree to something on maybe it's not her recording, maybe the guy was the one recording it and trying to get her to. It's an interesting theory.
Well, there is no doubt that both of them were recording the conversation, but he had nothing good. There's nothing on that recording that makes him look good. And
why would he record the conversation? He doesn't want anybody knowing about that conversation.
Well, what if Kari had ever said some dirt within that conversation? No, that's actually quite valuable. Yeah. He's already on the verge of dying here. He's gonna have to do whatever he has to do. I actually think you're trying to record. So I think it's just as important to have the recording of like, hey, I have a recording of you saying you can be bought off for this much. Like, I think that does help when you're doing that.
Blake SM, do you guys feel Kari won her election originally? That seemed fishy for sure. Well, I mean, I watched all the trials like the whole way through.
So in American History of Voter Fraud, we go over specific like how they manipulated things in Arizona and why I'm
gonna start counting how many times you say that during the show.
Oh yeah, trust me, everything relates to our films, everything in the world. But in the end, we actually go over this, and Arizona has specific laws where it makes it much easier to commit fraud than even other states aside from like California. But yeah, I mean, in Arizona, there was this Sharpie gate, and optical scanners are very prominent in this because they only are calibrated to certain inks. And so certain inks will screw up the optical scanners, and they were not calibrated to Sharpie ink, even though they say they were. They clearly weren't because the freaking Sharpie set them off and screwed them up and caused errors. So they could say they were calibrated, but clearly they weren't. And so that really screwed up the in-person voting. And that was just 2020. Then you compound that, all that same crap. And then in 2022, they are really making it hard to vote in person because they understand, oh, now Republicans are going to be disproportionately voting in person. So let's try and punish them for that by having machine errors. And hey, we're going to take your vote and we're going to put it into this provisional pile over here. We can look over it later and determine if we're going to count it or not. And so it was a way to weaponize and punish the in-person voters. And so Republicans have to do a better job of providing more polling locations for in-person voting only and making it easier to vote on election day, because that is something that they do struggle with.
Silent Partner over on X says, remember Governor Kemp's son-in-law? Also, poof, car accident.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
No, that's an excellent example. So the son-in-law had a girlfriend, and there was this massive car accident, and I believe the girlfriend exploded, or not the... I don't know. One of them exploded in the car, and it was like, if you see like kind of footage that they have of the explosion, it was so like, it was like a impactful thing. It wasn't like a regular car accident. Let's just put it that way. And so it was very suspicious, and he literally has never been the same since. Who knows? There's also great footage of Governor Kemp just like on this website. He's like speaking in, I forget if it's in Mandarin or subtitled in Mandarin. I assume it's subtitled, but it's like for this Chinese website, and it's just like, God, he's owned by China. It's just like, it's amazing. It's amazing. Governor Kemp is as corrupt of a rhino as you could see in the Republican Party. He is so, and the whole Georgia situation is really bad. David Ralston was like really good friends with Stacey Abrams. You know, he was the Georgia House Representative. They're all corrupt.
So let's see. Boston says on a different note, you feel Nikki is going to drop out soon. I figured she would have dropped out after New Hampshire right now. She hasn't.
Do you want the update on that? She just announced today that she is going to be around for not only South Carolina, but dozens of states. That is what she said just today. And
dude, she's got to be the backup plan for, because okay, so this is kind of a good segue to the Michelle Obama thing. She's got to be the backup plan for Biden. Maybe.
So what do you mean? What do you mean this ties in the Michelle Obama thing? This ties into the thing we just heard with Kari Lake. This is the thing of like how she's saying, you know, when she was originally talking about DeSantis, this is what I was talking about. It's not DeSantis. Don't get DeSantis people. Don't get freaked out. Like, I'm not criticizing DeSantis here. What I am saying is there was all this never Trump money, and the never Trump money, people were looking like, okay, who are we going to put our money in? Well, at the time when this was recorded, DeSantis was the only never Trump option that made sense. And even she knows that. And so she's saying, again, don't get hung up if you're a DeSantis fan. This isn't about DeSantis. This is about who are they going to put money behind to defeat Trump. And DeSantis looked like a pretty good option for that. And what the Democrats don't want people to know is if Trump doesn't run, all these gains we're seeing from Biden screwing up, you would most likely lose that. Trump is this very unique coalition that exists outside the Republican Party. We forget the Republican Party pre-Trump never pulled well with Black people, Hispanic people, etc. This is a new thing he's building, and it's kind of unique to him. So if they ran DeSantis or a Haley, when they say any Republican could beat Biden, that is so not true. He's an incumbent president. It is so hard to defeat an incumbent president, even when they're having a crumbling administration. It's so hard. They have all the infrastructure and all the advantages, you know, but in the end, that's the person they actually fear. And you could tell by what they're actually doing to try and manipulate all of this. But they were putting money into the DeSantis camp. Now it's going to the Haley camp, okay? Because this is their last bastion of, okay, can we knock out Trump before he freaking faces Biden, or before we have to swap out Biden? So yeah, Haley, the money you just heard from Jeff DeWitt that was supposed to go to Kari Lake, guess what? Nikki Haley, that conversation went a lot differently. It was, yes, sir, may I have another? I will sign here. However high you want me to jump, I will jump that high. Nikki Haley was meant for that conversation. Okay. Kari Lake has a little too much backbone for that.
Let's see. Oscar says Vivek is right. Ronan needs to step down for sure. I don't understand how Scott Presler isn't the chair of the GOP.
He does an excellent job registering people. I don't know if that is the only function of it, but man, you cannot deny the actual actions that Scott has actually taken. People can talk and say whatever they want.
How hard he works too.
Yeah, actions really speak much louder than words, and you can you can attack whatever and how he's very good at promoting himself. I just think he's very good at promoting himself. I don't think that's something to attack. He is. I disagree with him on the push for early voting. Just so you know, I've actually been on spaces where he was in it, and I mentioned that. But I absolutely respect all of his actions. What I even said to him as he was listening in the space was like, I'm concerned that you're going out there and registering people, and then you're registering them as Republicans, and then they're going to vote absentee, mail in, and early, and all they're doing is giving the election official more time and access to undo all the hard work that Scott did, and which is an amazing work that he's doing. And so all I'm saying is let's try and protect the hard work that he's doing by having them vote in person. But that's a debate that we can have. I'm not saying anything else than that. But yeah, Scott Presler, he deserves at least, like, for whatever job it is to register people for the Republican Party, he's clearly the best. And even if they have to make a position for him within the GOP, they should do that because he is that impactful at that.
Well, he gets the direction of the party too. he just gets
And that, see, when you're talking about the head of the GOP, it is so much more of a figurehead than actually the functionality. You're discussing a functional person and trying to put them into a figurehead. But I do think, just like Donald Trump, it would maybe you need someone different in that position. It would make you think differently about what a good GOP chairperson is.
Blake says, what do you think about all the Dems that came out to vote for Nikki today in the primary? He says, seems as if that should not be allowed in the Republican primary.
Well, if you paid attention to my page, you would have seen that coming from days ago, actually last week, because Mayor Wu of Boston was bragging about this. She was on radio saying that she was going to, this was like on a Tuesday. She's like, I'm going to go down to New Hampshire Saturday, and we're going to garner all of our supporters to really try and write in Joe Biden. But what she's secretly saying there is they're also going to do a little hokey pokey and vote for Nikki Haley against Trump in that election. And so there is, this has been what the Democrats have to do so much election manipulation to really prop up their supposed power. In a free and fair election, you'd be shocked at how little power blue has.
I wouldn't be shocked at all. All right, Eric, you know what? I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I got to feed the dogs.
We crushed that one topic so hard. I was like, we can't really get into anything else, but it was so good. That I hope people, if you didn't watch the whole thing, we break it down painstakingly. God, it is such an important video. It's one of those things, like 10 years from now, people will still be playing that. 20 years from now, it is a landmark moment.
Yeah, we'll see how much attention gets. I mean,
it's going to get squashed for sure. But I'm telling you, this is an important one. Bookmark it. Think about that one. Share it with people. It'll change a lot of people's opinions.
Yeah, I want to see what other people are saying about it. All right, folks. Let's see. Chris WH, B Sizzo, Blake, Boston, Silent Partner. Lots of you guys tonight. Ian Thomas, user 1121, Casey Martin, Goat Cheese, Such a Spotlight. All you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Eric, let people know where people could find you.
My Twitter at Eric Abbenante, my wife's website, lilahart.com/documentary. Check us out there. Really appreciate you guys for supporting the films.
All right, you guys, if you're still watching, give that like button a tap. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit the links in our bios, and thank you so much for hanging out. I will be back here tomorrow night at 6:30. I'll see if Eric wants to join. I'm not sure if he'll be here.
I will be on my show, Immune to the System, but it is such a pleasure to be with Michael's audience and Michael, of course. But, he's really built something here, and I have to commend him because he is inspiring people left and right. And so, yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's got to be at least two people you've inspired. So that's, I didn't say front and back. I just said left and right, man. But no, you're doing a great job, and it's a pleasure to just be a small part of CaliBased.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. But you know how we do it. Before we get out of here, we've got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. Let's see. What do we got tonight, Eric? Let's see.
Oh, I know it's going to be good.
Okay.
Legendary.
It's a Chuck Norris joke with Mr. T, so you know it's going to be good.
Oh.
All right, so let's see. Mr. T once defeated Chuck Norris in a game of tic-tac-toe. In retaliation, Chuck Norris invented racism. And on that note,
that's a strong one. I like it.